the most haunted house in America. In 1849, two men were traveling down the Mississippi River when they found an abandoned house on an island. But what they saw inside was so terrifying it drove them insane. This is the tragic story of the most haunted house in America. It was a cold winter day on the Mississippi River. Two steamboat pilots named Horace and John were traveling from St. Louis to New Orleans. Their job was to steer the ship and make sure they didn't crash into any other boats or the many trees that line the river. The journey usually took about 4 days, but this time they were going to try to do it in just 3. This meant they had to go faster and take more risks. On the 3rd day, the men were approaching an area of the river known as the Bends. This was where the river made a sharp turn and then went straight for about 8 miles. It was here that Horace and John would discover something very strange. As they approached, they saw a house standing right in the middle of the river. They couldn't believe their eyes. They pulled up next to the house and started asking, "Who lives there? Is anyone home?" No one answered. They knocked on the door, but no one answered. So the men decided to open the door themselves. To their surprise, it was unlocked. As they stepped inside, they realized this wasn't just any house. It was a prison. There were cells everywhere, and some of them even had people locked inside. The men ran away as fast as they could. When they turned around, they saw that the house was gone. When they checked their log, they saw that they had never stopped at all. To this day, no one knows where the prison came from or where it went. But there is one theory. In the early 1800s, there was a prison on an island in the Mississippi River. But over time, the river slowly swallowed up the land, and the prison was forced to close. It's possible that the prison was moved to another location, and that's why Horace and John never found it again. Or maybe it's cursed. The legend of the ghost ship. For years, people have told stories of a ghost ship that appears on an abandoned island in the middle of the Mississippi River. The ship only appears every 7 years to take the souls of those who have died in the river. Some say the ship is real, while others say it's just a myth. But one thing's for sure. If you hear the bell of the ghost ship, then your time has come. One day, a man named Joseph was traveling down the river when he heard a sound he couldn't explain. At first he thought it was a bird, but then he realized it was the sound of a bell. Joseph continued on his way, but the bell kept following him. He turned around and saw a ghost ship in the distance. It was huge and covered in cobwebs. Joseph tried to get away, but the ship was too fast. It soon caught up with him and sucked him onto the boat. Joseph never saw his body again. Some say it's still on the island to this day. Another man named Thomas was traveling down the river when he also heard the bell. He thought about getting out of there, but he was curious, so he decided to stay and see what happened. The bell got louder and louder until he couldn't take it anymore. He jumped into the river and the ghost ship saved him. He climbed aboard and found hundreds of people inside. They were all sitting quietly, staring ahead. Thomas asked one of them what was happening, but he didn't answer. Looked like he hadn't moved in years. Thomas soon realized that if you don't move on, you become one of the statues on the ship forever. He ran to the front of the boat and jumped into the water. He swam as hard as he could until he got away from the island and the ghost ship. Now, if you ever hear the bell of the ghost ship, then run away fast or you'll be stuck on the island forever. The Hookman. When people think of scary things that go bump in the night, they think of ghosts, vampires, and werewolves. But the Hookman might be the scariest of them all. He haunts the old train tracks near an abandoned house. If you hear his chains dragging, then it's time to run. A long time ago, there was a man who lived in the abandoned house. He was called the Hookman because he always carried a hook with him. One night, the man was walking along the train tracks when he heard a loud bang. He turned around and saw a train coming right towards him. He tried to get out of the way, but it was too late. The train hit him and ripped his arms off. Now his soul is trapped in the house, and he comes out at night to drag people into the woods. One day, a group of teenagers decided to explore the abandoned house. They didn't believe in ghosts, so they weren't scared at all. They walked through the house and found the Hookman's hook on the floor. Suddenly, they heard chains dragging in the attic. The teens ran away as fast as they could, but the Hookman followed them. One of the teens tripped and fell. The Hookman came over and put his hook in her mouth. She screamed, but no one could hear her. The Hookman dragged her into the woods and she was never seen again. If you ever hear the chains dragging in the attic, then run away fast or the Hookman will find you. The House of Pain, deep in the swamps of Louisiana, is an abandoned house that's said to be cursed. Anyone who stays in the house is met with horrible things happening around them. Some say the house even eats people alive. The house was built by a wealthy family, but after a while, they started to die mysteriously. Some say the house was haunted and that's why the family left. Others say the family was cursed by an old witch. Either way, no one dares go near the house. One day, a group of friends decided to explore the house. They didn't believe in ghosts or curses, so they weren't scared at all. They walked through the house and found a diary. The diary, they read about the family and how they all died. Suddenly, they heard a voice in the attic. The friends ran away as fast as they could, but the house was too quick. It grabbed one of the friends and pulled him into the attic. He screamed, but no one could hear him. The house was never the same after that, and to this day, no one knows what happened to the friend. If you ever see the house in the swamp, then stay far away. You don't want to know what happens next. Spirit of Sally. Sally is the ghost of a young girl who haunts an abandoned house. She's said to be the most polite ghost in the world, and she only appears to warn people of danger. A long time ago, there was a girl named Sally who lived in the house. She was very polite and always said yes to everything. One day, Sally's father died and her mother became very angry. She blamed Sally for bringing bad luck to the family and started treating her like a servant. Sally didn't complain. She just did as she was told. But one day she had enough. She packed her things and ran away from home. She walked all night and eventually died of exhaustion. Her ghost stayed in the house and waited for her mother to apologize. For years, people have reported seeing Sally's ghost. She's always dressed in a white nightgown, and she walks the halls of the house at night. Some say she's a kind ghost who only appears to warn people of danger. Others say she's a vengeful spirit who's looking for revenge. One day, a group of teenagers decided to explore the house. They didn't believe in ghosts, so they weren't scared at all. They walked through the house and found Sally's diary. In the diary, they read about her sad life and how she died. Suddenly, they felt a cold breeze and heard footsteps behind them. They turned around and saw Sally's ghost standing in the doorway. She was smiling and waving. The teens ran away as fast as they could, but Sally was too quick. She grabbed one of the teens and pulled her into the bedroom. She never let go. If you ever see Sally's ghost, then listen to her warning. She only wants to help. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, then stay tuned.